What's going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today I want to talk to you about PayPal. I want to give you a quick overview of what the current data points are saying and some expectations going into this upcoming week. So I'm going to go over all that, but first make sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And with that said, let's get right to it. So when it comes down to PayPal, this is my very first video, despite me actually holding it for a while now, ever since their recent earnings. So I did buy, I think it was around 600 shares, actually the day of their earnings. I bought it at 62 something. So I didn't really catch the bottom. I would have liked to have caught it at around 55 or potentially a little bit higher, but you win some, you lose some. I really do like PayPal, and over the last little bit, ever since their earnings, it actually has been somewhat predictable, which is very good for options investors. This upcoming week with CPI coming out on Tuesday, that could give it the nice justification for it to push higher. So I'm going to talk on technicals and everything else that you need to know. As of right now, the last news that did come out was this. And so it says tap to pay on iPhone now available for Venmo and PayPal, Zettle businesses in the US. So pretty good stuff. Is this a reason to go and buy PayPal? Not so much. So that's one thing that PayPal has really been struggling with ever since their earnings, is just substantial news. And again, that's kind of what they did fail to really give good future guidance. And even outside of this year, just looking at their implied physical future revenue growth for 2025, 26, and 27, it is very low. So in comparison to a lot of other fintechs, which are double-digit growth at least, looks like PayPal is kind of struggling. So that's one thing that's really been holding it back. At the same time, just big money hasn't been getting into it as what it once was. Still fairly substantial though. So these are some of the transactions that did occur on Friday. So normally Fridays are relatively low volume, but you do have some pretty big ones. So 13.6 million, even on Thursday you had a big one, 65 million. And then technically right here you had 88.6 million. So a lot of big money is still looking at it. But like I said, prior to their recent earnings, this was like tenfold. So again, something to kind of consider. I always like to bring up shorts under this channel, not necessarily calling PayPal or any stock a squeeze play, but it's good to analyze. So for instance, on Friday, shorts did return about 45.28 thousand shares. 1.97% of the free float is being shorted, and that works out to be 21.11 million shares. So the fact that PayPal did actually close green and shorts were returning, it does justify the green day. So that's kind of a bullish data point behind the scenes. And looking at this, so this is all the options, $15 million in calls being purchased versus 4.25 million in puts. Sentiment wise from Friday, 51% of all the options being done were optimistic and bullish. So overall, generally very good. And of the call options that were purchased, there's a consensus for it to be roughly around $61 by the end of next week. So it's been very predictable over the last little bit, like I said, due to the technicals and CPI coming out this week, more specifically Tuesday. So forecast year over year is 3.7, month over month is 0.3. So if this data is very positive, meaning a little bit lower than anticipated, this is where you could get a nice push higher for PayPal, because based on the technicals, you can kind of look right here. So with it closing at 59.01, it is trading between this S2 and this S1. So kind of lagging a lot of the other growth stocks, but 58.41 is going to be a very strong support that you'll want to watch for it to hold. And on Friday, it kind of did bounce off of that, so that's kind of a good thing. But you really want to watch these two targets, so this R1 and the R2, because even looking right here on the actual technicals, it has been range bound between that 50 and 100 day moving average for a good 2.5 weeks. So like I said, it's been relatively predictable. So if you are a options trader, PayPal is literally one of the best stocks that you can actually be in. And so it did actually attempt to break out above this 50-day moving average, but didn't really have enough there. But like I said, with CPI potentially coming this week, and again, I think it's PPI on Thursday, that could give it the nice justified reason to get above that and back into kind of pre-earnings levels, because you have seen a lot of stocks just hitting 52-week highs. Just PayPal has been lagging, and it is very unfortunate, but again, that's kind of the name of the game, right? That's why we invest. Looking at some of the other additional data points, stochastic is at 29, so that is considered very oversold. So if there's a good piece of news, once again, for the broader market or specific to PayPal, this is where you could see value value investors rushing into PayPal. And of course, I have been generally optimistic and bullish with PayPal so far in this video, but like I mentioned about CPI, if that does come in hotter than anticipated, that will be the kind of justified reason to push it below this 100-day moving average, causing it to get back into kind of the mid 50s essentially. So it could go very bearish, all dependent on that data coming out. Number of retail investors have been getting in, so of course that is a fairly good thing. Just to give you a quick overview of some other additional data points, more specifically analyst ratings. So last couple of ratings that did come out was about 5 days ago. Morgan Stanley, James, who does have a 65% success rating, gave a price target of 62, and 9 days ago 63. UBS, Timothy, who has a 51% success rating. But as a consensus, all analysts expect around 67, 63, and that's about a 15% upside. So all in all, fairly good. Going into this upcoming week though, the technicals as well are looking fairly good and anticipating more so a breakout, because based on the Elliott wave technicals, it does have a pivot point of 55.20. So for as long as PayPal is above that, which right now it is, then it is anticipated to get between the high 60s and low 70s. So that's kind of optimistic. But of course, like I said, with CPI coming out this week, it could really escalate that to get to these levels faster, or potentially push it to this pivot point and have that tested. So I think all in all, PayPal is building a very strong foundation. And I think right now a lot of institutions are accumulating, but not really getting in and kind of getting that warm fuzzy feeling with PayPal as what it once did. So I think PayPal is a long-term investment. Probably not much was going to come in this quarter. I think bigger and better things, possibly the 70s, will come in Q2. But then again, I'm not a financial advisor. You guys do your own due diligence. So PayPal, like I said, I did buy them on the day of the earnings. Since then, I've been actually buying the CDR version of that as well. So I have been accumulating more and more PayPal because I really do like what they're trying to do. And out of the whole market, PayPal is probably one of the biggest profitable companies that is at a substantial discount. But then again, like I said, I could be very much wrong about that. So let me know your thoughts on PayPal for this upcoming week. Do you think it is going to hit potentially the above that 63 level range that's been struggling with, or do you think it's going to retrace down? What's your thoughts on all of that? As well, what is your thoughts, for instance, on this upcoming CPI data? Do you think it's going to be hotter than anticipated? Because a lot of people, once this data comes out, are going to instantly start to think about rate cuts. Is it going to be in June, or is it going to be in the second half, or potentially even later part of 2024? So a lot of people are going to speculate very much based on this information. And even once the data is truly out, it'll be even further criticized and analyzed and everything. So once again, definitely should be a very interesting week. Plus the fear and greed index is at 71. So people's appetite for risk is still very much there. So if CPI is positive, I feel like a lot of institutions are going to be looking for value plays such as PayPal. But once again, let me know. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. One final thing I just wanted to share with you, take advantage of this promo. Simply sign up for an account with Moomoo, throw $100 at it, and you get 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. So make sure you take advantage of this promo. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.